When Allah decrees something for you, no force on this earth can take it away. No amount of opposition, no obstacle, no person can stand between you and what Allah has written for you. And if something is not meant for you, even if you exhaust yourself chasing it, even if the whole world tries to hand it to you, it will slip through your fingers. The Prophet Muhammad told us, if the entire ummah gathers to harm you, they will never succeed unless Allah has written it for you. And if they all come together to benefit you, they cannot do so except with what Allah has already decreed for you. This is the reality of life. Nothing happens outside of Allah's will. Not the opportunities you receive, not the setbacks you face, not the people who come into your life, and not the ones who leave. Everything is part of a divine plan, perfectly orchestrated, even when we don't understand it. Look at the story of Prophet Musa. Pharaoh was the most powerful man of his time. He ruled with absolute authority, and his arrogance made him believe he could defy even destiny itself. That when he was warned that a child from the Israelites would rise and overthrow him, he didn't just dismiss the prophecy, he actively tried to prevent it. He ordered the killing of every newborn baby boy, ensuring that no threat to his rule could even take its first breath. His soldiers scoured the land. His spies lurked in every corner. His power seemed limitless. But when Allah wills something, no army can stop it. Amidst this chaos, in the heart of a mother's fear, Allah sent an inspiration. Place your child in a basket and cast him into the river. Imagine the agony in her heart. A mother cradling her newborn, being told to let him go. She had no idea what would happen. Would the waves be too strong? Would someone find him? Would he survive? But her faith in Allah was stronger than her fear. And so she placed her baby in the river, trusting that the one who created him would protect him. The river which could have swallowed him became his cradle. The water which could have drowned him became his safe passage. And where did this fragile, helpless baby end up? In the very palace of Pharaoh. The man who was so desperate to prevent Musa's existence ended up raising him in his own home. Pharaoh, who had no children of his own, had no idea that the very child he had been searching for was now sleeping under his roof, in his wife's arms, being nurtured in luxury and safety. But Allah's plan wasn't done yet. Baby Musa refused to drink milk from anyone. The palace searched desperately for a wet nurse, but the child would not suckle from anyone. And he was crying, growing weaker, and they feared for his survival. And then in a twist that only Allah could have written, Musa's own mother was brought to the palace. The moment she held him, the moment he latched onto her, they knew she was the one. And just like that, the same baby she had tearfully placed in the river was returned to her safe, well-fed, and now protected under the care of the palace itself. This is the power of Allah. The lesson in this story is not just about Prophet Musa or his mother. It is a lesson for you, for me, for all of us. It is a message for every believer. Just like Musa's mother placed her trust in Allah and was rewarded beyond her imagination, we too must have faith that what is meant for us will always find its way to us. Sometimes we are forced to let go of things we love. Sometimes we are separated from the people we care about. Sometimes our dreams seem to drift away, carried by the waves of uncertainty. And in those moments, we feel helpless, lost, afraid. But just as Allah returned Musa to his mother, just as he protected him when all the odds were against him, he is watching over you too. Maybe right now you're struggling. Maybe a door you desperately wanted to open has slammed shut. Maybe you're waiting for something and it's just not happening. Maybe you've lost someone and the pain feels unbearable. But remember, what is meant for you will never miss you. And what is not meant for you will never be yours. No amount of effort, no amount of stress, no sleepless nights can bring something into your life that Allah has not written for you. And no loss, no betrayal, no misfortune can take away what is truly yours. If Allah wants to give you something, He will give it to you, even if the entire world tries to stop it. If He wants to protect you, He will do so, even if danger surrounds you from every side. If He wants to return something to you, He will at the right time, in the best way, in a manner far greater than you could have ever imagined. So trust Him, trust His timing, trust His plan, keep making dua, keep putting in effort. And when the time is right, what is written for you will come to you in ways beyond your imagination. My brothers and sisters, we have a responsibility to serve the ummah. to think beyond ourselves and to prepare the next generations to carry forward the legacy of Islam. This is not just about words, it is about action, about being living examples of faith. The most powerful way to teach is not through speeches or instructions, but through our own way of life. When you fulfill your salah with sincerity, when you dress modestly out of love for Allah, when you uphold the values of Islam with pride, your children, before they even understand language, will mirror your actions. A child who cannot yet speak will try to dress like you. A toddler who cannot yet walk will be found in sujud simply because they see you doing it. This is the divine system of Allah. If we live by Islam with conviction, inshallah, our children will grow up with that same love and respect for their faith. And even if at some point they drift away, we can still say, Ya Allah, I did my best. We continue to guide, we continue to pray, but ultimately the power of bringing them back is with Allah alone. May Allah guide our children, but before that, may Allah guide us. Because how can we expect the next generation to hold on to faith if we ourselves carry it like a burden? If we pray as if it's a chore, if we cover ourselves with resentment instead of gratitude, if we see our religion as a set of restrictions instead of an honor, what message are we sending? The true beauty of Islam is unlocked when you embrace it with love. When you pray, not just out of fear, but out of devotion. When you say, Ya Allah, I love you. I will wake up for Fajr because I want to, because you have given me so much, because I owe everything to you. That is when your heart feels the peace of true submission. And now let's go back to Prophet Musa. He was taken from his mother's arms as a baby, but Allah's promise was clear. We will return him to you. And not only was he returned, but he was returned under the protection of the very palace that once sought to destroy him. There is a powerful lesson in this for us. Sometimes we are separated from the ones we love. A divorce tears a family apart. A job sends a husband far from his wife. Circumstances force parents and children to live miles apart. And sometimes a third party interferes, breaking bonds that were meant to last. And then there is the ultimate separation, death. When a loved one leaves this world, the pain is unbearable. It feels like a part of us has been ripped away. But Allah reminds us this is not the end. If we live by faith, if we strive for righteousness, then Allah has promised to reunite us in the hereafter. Allah tells us in Surah At-Tur, Ayah 21, and those who believed and whose descendants followed them in faith, we will join them together. Imagine that moment, standing in Jannah, surrounded by the people you thought you had lost forever. No more pain, no more separation, just eternal joy with those you love. So do not despair. The loss you feel today is temporary. What is written by Allah will always find its way back to you. If not in this world, then in the next, where every separation will be replaced with an everlasting reunion. So ask yourself, what example are you setting? Are you following Islam with love or as a burden? Our actions shape the next generation, and we must make sure they inherit faith, not just as a set of rules, but as a source of peace, pride, and purpose. May Allah reunite us with our loved ones in the highest ranks of Jannah. May He forgive our shortcomings, strengthen our faith, and fill our hearts with unwavering trust in His plan. Ameen.